Hello, welcome to the Mandela Effect equals knowledge. My name is Dale DuFay. Here we're looking at an unassuming photograph. Now this is a what they call a vent pipe. This is a older one that was used, you know, up until the '60s, maybe depending on what reality you're in. But this is made out of cast iron, and you can see the seam here. And this is right in my bathroom where I live. And I always looked at this as maybe something that would be different in each reality. This seam right here. There's no way, like if we were shifting into other realities and encountering, things like this, that was put in by a plumber who, of course, had a parallel existence, did this job in every reality he existed in. Now, so, and this being a vent pipe, it's really no consequent. It just vents the plumbing that from the toilets and whatnot, and so it wouldn't have any consequence. Usually these are behind walls and things like this. So what I did is measured from this wall to this seam, and it was always like 4 1/8 inches exactly. And I always assumed that it would be different in each reality, but it wasn't. Every time I felt I shifted, I checked this measurement, or I checked it pretty frequently, and it was always exactly a 4 1/8 inch from the wall, drywall right there, all the way to the seam. It was exactly 4 1/8 inch, and it was that way for the longest time. And it actually had me kind of doubting the theory. Not really. It's the thing I assumed, because there's too many things that point that the theory that we have a parallel existence in a multitude of Earths, and obviously each replica version of herself is living their own reality. So I just assumed this would be always be different. There's no way it could be exactly the same, but it wasn't. It was always exactly the same. It was like I said, get me to kind of doubt it. Even though, like I said, there's too much overwhelming evidence that that's exactly what's happening to us. We're shifting into other realities, into other replica versions of ourselves that always existed, where distance separates our realities, our multiple realities, not dimensions. So, I was perplexed by that. The only thing I assumed is that the plumber installing this made a conscious effort to have this. I'm sure this wall wasn't there. There was no doubt rough wall, the 2x4 studs and things like that when they installed this. But the only thing I assumed is the only reason it could be exactly 4 1/8 inches is that the plumber made a conscious effort to make sure the seam was where it was. No doubt, probably totally opposing it to the seam on the pipe underneath this, where they join them together, because these are only like 5 feet long. So I came to that conclusion, but yeah, I have to admit it was really still I couldn't help but doubt what that may not be what's going on, because again, this something like this would have to be random as far as installing it. Each plumber's reality that installed this pipe, that's the thing. It's just really amazing about what we're finding out is virtually, every reality is so identical. It's incredible, to the point where this even is. The measurement, it was exactly 4 1/8 inches. So I just stopped measuring it for a while. In fact, that's when I kind of deleted the other channel tears of the Milky Way, and just started thinking this all over again. And obviously, I'm still sticking to that same theory, because there's too much evidence pointing to that. Plus, the theory explains everything. Not only what we're experiencing, but what uh, we've always wondered about our whole life. So I didn't check the measurement for the longest time, and then I just checked it the other day, and lo and behold, it was exactly 4 inches. Look at that. I know it was right there before, and now it's almost dead center on the 4 inch mark. And I checked it all the way up and down, and it was firmly an eighth inch. I know that doesn't sound like much, but I was just so excited. I was never so excited about an eighth of an inch ever in my whole life, because this basically just confirmed it. You know, sure, it ain't much, but it doesn't matter if it's 1 inch over here or over on this side, or 1/8 of an inch difference. It still proves that although the plumber up apparently made a very conscious effort to line these seams up where they are, there's still got to be some variation, even if it's just an eighth inch. And here again is the eighth inch, 4 1/8. It was right there in the previous realities, previous several realities. And plus, I noticed too, some of the seam is broken off flush in different areas as well. Even down here, you can see it actually broke out some of the casting. So that varies considerably, but this is the one I really, really was very happy about. It just to reaffirm the theory, and just like I said, I was never probably the most excited I've been since I realized that we are in different realities, and that happened when I looked at the Oscar Mayer labels in the refrigerator on the products. I was like, and that was a few years ago. And that's what really helped me realize initially, wow, this is a completely different reality, because there's no way they could change the name. Again, their things are not changing, they're just different. There's no way this pipe could have moved. It's impossible. They're put together with like a 1/2 inch or 3/8 inch rope and lead, and they pack it in there real tight where they join together. And there's absolutely no way the wall moved or anything. It's just a different location of the seam, albeit an eighth inch. But that's still, it's phenomenal. And again, I didn't even bother taking a picture of the measurement when it was 4 1/8, because just like this picture, it really doesn't matter, because these pictures, like this one, stays in this reality. So if I had taken a picture when it was at 4 1/8, I could have went back in my photo album and looked at that picture, and I would have showed it right as it is here. Because if I took the picture of it being 4 1/8, then every replica version of myself sharing my soul through all this would have been measuring it as well and taking a picture of it as well. So whatever, you wind up in that reality where nothing leaves, everything stays in each reality. The only thing that's allowed to go from reality to reality at this point is our soul, and the portions of our soul. The one, so there's no, I wanted to bring that up because I was just so excited about it, couldn't help but take a picture. I'm sure every replica version of myself did, and including the one that saw it, is witnessing it at 4 1/8 in whatever reality they're in, that knew it was at 4. And when I knew it was at 4 1/8. So I know, again, that's not very much, an eighth inch, but it totally confirms this theory that that's exactly what's happening. Things are not changing. It's impossible. It's impossible for this pipe to change, this seam to twist and move or anything. This thing is solid. It ain't going nowhere in each reality. But that's it's proving that that's what's happening. We're shifting into the realities we've always existed in. And the big question is, why is that happening, and why is it happening so much? I might wake up in a reality where it's 3 1/4 inches, or even over here at 3 inches. But you can't prove it. There's no way to prove it, because again, if I wind up in that reality where the seam's at 3 inches, I'll look at the picture that all of us took, because we're subconsciously connected all the time, even though our soul portions are independent. It would be, depending on what reality, and it's going to show where it is, because the pictures cannot leave with us when we shift. The only thing that's going is our spirit, from reality to reality. No pictures, no records, no. You can't leave a message in a bottle. You can't try to sneak and do something to leave a message, because then every replica version of yourself is going to do it as well. And you're right back to square one, your memory. So there's no, and the more time you concentrate on something, the more apt that every single replica version of yourself is going to do the same thing. If you do something, haphazard and, just so happen, oh, I didn't pay attention to that, I should. After you did it, then maybe you can notice variations or differences. But again, you can't sneak a picture in with you. You know, like if I, like I said, if I took that picture back when it was 4 1/8 in those realities, it wouldn't show it here in this reality. It would show, because the pipes, the records, again, everything stays. That's important to remember that, realize that. But that's unfortunate in a sense because, again, there's absolutely no way you could prove it. You know, you can't prove it by photos. Like I said, even if I had took that picture, I couldn't compare it side by side, showing it. Oh, you know, picture's reality, picture from one reality and go into another reality and see and compare them. There's absolutely no way that that's going to happen. And then again, it comes back to, you know, why is this happening so much? Is it, you know, I've always said, I don't need any more convincing that, you know, as far as there's multiple realities. I mean, if that's why we're shifting. So I think it's a lot more than that. I think in a subconscious way, it's probably a very powerful, more than we can even imagine. Soul cleansing, call it what you want. I think that this is a very important thing. It's not just as far as gaining the knowledge, it's showing us beyond a shadow of a doubt. Again, this could not change. When I look at the globe, when I look at Google Earth, when I see the maps, and I even pay attention to globes and maps and things on TV shows, and they're always going to represent the Earth and reality we're in now, and that we've always been in. That's the crazy thing. Again, it always comes down to how do you put it into words, you know. But this was a real exciting for me, even though it was a mere eighth of an inch, you know. It's still, it may as well been 1 1/8 inch. You know, it just doesn't matter. It's still very exciting. I was thrilled. I hadn't measured it in like 3 or 4 months because I realized that it was every time I did it was exactly 4 1/8, and I was like kind of giving up on it. Not giving up on the theory, but still deep down kind of questioning it all, because of course I knew that something like this had to be different in each reality, but it wasn't. And again, that explains, you know, it just simply means that the plumber made a very conscious effort, thereby making every replica version of itself put the seam in the same exact spot, regardless of whether it was drywall there or not. They probably started from obviously from the crawl space underneath the house and worked their way up from the rough plumbing, and everything in every reality was virtually identical, except for here it was an eighth inch difference, which is significant. It just, I mean, it helped confirm something I already knew. And I know I'm not the only one, because it's very obvious what the Mandela Effect showing us. Bottom line, it's showing us that quantum entanglement is the basic fundamental foundation of existence. It's as simple as that. And science is already confirming that distance, it doesn't matter whatsoever how far apart our replica, you know, our soul portions are in these realities. It doesn't matter. They already know that. So once they find out that all life is in this quantum entanglement, then they start putting two together. We wouldn't even be able to breathe if we didn't have this quantum entanglement, or walk, or be coordinated at all. We wouldn't be able to drive. I mean, traffic would be a snarls, mess. It's just amazing when you look at nature as a whole and understand that it's a quantum entanglement is what it's all about, period. And the Mandela Effect is proving that conclusively with our fact that we're shifting into these realities that are virtually identical for the most part. That's why this whole thing is so confusing. Everything is for the most part very identical, including a seam like that something you would, you know. That's why it's hard to try and find something that you would expect to be different in each reality. And but if it is, you know, if it isn't different in each reality, it's because of a very conscious effort was there made to put it there like it was, whatever you may be tracking. So it's helping us to understand a lot about our consciousness and everything. But beyond that is the real mystery. So I wanted to share this with you, and again, it was deep down. It was a confirmation to me personally that the theory is very sound. Again, that theory being that we all life on Earth, including the Earths themselves, have a parallel existence in a multitude of realities throughout the entire Milky Way galaxy and no doubt beyond. Because if everything we see from atoms to constellations and everything in between are parallel, then we have to assume the galaxy is as well. I don't think we're in, and I mean we could be obviously, but it's still the Milky Way galaxy. It just seems different because the astrophysicists have a very different view of the galaxy simply because of our location. If you're if your solar system's this close to the galactic center where this one is, and several previous ones have been, it's very difficult to get a clear view of the galaxy, which they admit, astrophysicists. But it's quite the contrary on the outer reaches, and they have a much better view. That's why it seems like we're in a different galaxy, but it's the same Milky Way galaxy, because there's infinite, virtually infinite room in the galaxy. Of course, it's finite. There could be, but still, start counting into the billions. That's how many potential realities there could be in this galaxy alone. And no doubt, again, if the galaxies are parallel, then all this is parallel beyond and into the universe. It's just incredible what the Mandela Effect's revealing. And it's us human beings that are the pinnacle of all this. Think about it. It's on all the Earth and all the Milky Way galaxy. Us human beings are the pinnacle of creation, and that's another thing the Mandela Effect is showing us, and something very important. So obviously, you could tell I was excited about this. I mean, again, every replica version of myself took this picture in their reality, and the pictures don't come with us. Nothing comes with us whatsoever. But it doesn't need to, because it exists in every reality. So that's the neat thing about it all. It's just incredible. So with that, I thank you for watching, and we'll talk at you later. Love you.